And welcome back to Fourth and Pain, the only pro wrestling show hosted by an NFL player. 2,000 miles to my left, he's Redskins defensive end Adam Carriker. 2,000 miles to his right, I'm weight loss champion Chuck Carroll. And joining us on the hotline, I have no idea where in Blue Blazes he is, but he's nowhere near the D.C. area. So, Mr. Anderson, welcome to the show.
Thank you, and I am in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Minneapolis. All right. Well, welcome to the show. Appreciate you taking the time. And, when we first got the ball rolling with the guys down in TNA, one of the officials, Brian Hebner, took a fancy to Adam. And he said to us, he's like, there is nobody in the locker room that's as big of a football fan as Mr. Anderson. And he bleeds the green and gold. So where did that kind of fascination with the Packers start with you?
Well, I mean, for me, it started, I grew up in Wisconsin, about 30 miles away from Green Bay, and my father bled green and gold, and so therefore we watched, Packer football every single Sunday, and he would always he couldn't stand and there's always these little traditions that go along with watching football with your dad as a kid, and one of those traditions for us was he couldn't stand listening to the announcers on TV, so he would always turn them down, and he would turn up the local guys, Jim Irwin and Max McGee, and listen to them do color commentary and play-by-play. That's kind of where it started for me, and, it took off.
Let's go. Adam, it seemed as though you play for the Redskins, and we have a big old Packers fan on the line. Are you feeling a little shy?
Oh no, I'm not shy at all. In fact, I remember when he climbed to the top of the ring and pointed at me and pounded at his chest and said Packers when I was at the impact zone. He turned away before I could show him my bicep and scare him, but I didn't want to put the fear of God in the guy already. So
I saw you shivering actually a little bit. I think there was a little quake.
I think I was laughing, not shivering.
Hey, Kent, let me ask you this. Adam told us a story not that long ago about his time down there at the Impact Zone, and he said Hulk Hogan actually expressed interest in Carriker becoming a wrestler once his NFL days are over. Now, given the fact that you've had a chance to kind of size him up a little bit, do you think that perhaps Adam has a future in the business?
Perhaps. I mean, he's got some size. He can work on it a little bit. No, obviously, I think first and foremost, he's got the God-given physical tools to handle the job. But I think even more so, something that's required even more than just the physical tools is, a passion and an interest, and he obviously has that. He's obviously interested in wrestling. And he obviously has the drive and desire for success that got him to the NFL. I mean, that's not just something that, some kid enjoys playing football and says, hey, I'm going to go play in the NFL. I mean, everybody knows how hard it is. At least everybody knows what they hear about how hard it is to get into the NFL, but only Adam can obviously tell that story. Yeah, I definitely think that the guy's got a future if it's something he's interested in.
Well, Adam, that's 3 for 3 in terms of endorsements. Oh, 4 for 4. So you've got Hogan, you've got Austin Aries, and you've got Brian Hebner, all of which think that your future is in the ring, my friend. How are you feeling about that?
Hey, you know what? That's awesome to hear. I'll never forget talking to Hogan that night. I just signed a 4-year deal with the Redskins, and I'm going to be playing football for the next few years. But just to have Hulk Hogan, one of the greatest, if not, the most recognizable wrestling face of all time, express that interest, and then, a guy like Ken Anderson, who I've been a fan of for years, say something along the similar lines. I mean, that's just exciting, man. I remember that night I couldn't even go to sleep. I was so pumped up just from meeting everybody and had a great time. And my son was wired. He was got back to the hotel room just running around like chick with his head cut off. So yeah, no, it's exciting, man. So I got a question for you, Mr. Anderson. If you played football, I'm assuming you did. What position did you play?
I actually never played football. I never played organized football. I always played, with friends, hard tackle, no pads. But no, never played organized football. I'll tell you I never. This is kind of strange, but as a kid, I was never even interested in football until I want to say I was about 10 years old, and by that time, my dad was of the mindset that I shouldn't even attempt to get involved in football at that time because other kids had already passed me by so much. Looking back on that, I wish he wouldn't have, done that way, but it is what it is. But the other thing, the other element to that is that my parents always made me get a job in the summer, and my summer job always lasted all the way to the end of summer, and football practice always started in August, and so I could never start practice. So never did it.
You're listening to Fourth and Pain, the only pro wrestling show hosted by an NFL athlete and a weight loss champion. On the hotline with us, TNA wrestler Mr. Anderson. And Mr. Anderson, I'm going to be honest with you. You sound like a lot more soft-spoken than I was kind of expecting. You're really just a regular guy, and it makes me wonder, where did you come up with the idea for the whole Mr. Anderson gimmick in the ring?
That was actually started, it's a really kind of a long story that started when I was in high school. And just messing around, I took a mass media class, and we had to come up with like a fictitious product and then try to sell that product, and we had to use, a radio ad, a print ad, a TV commercial. We could pick like 3 different types of medium that we wanted to use. And I picked, a radio commercial, a television commercial, and a print ad. And I did the radio thing, and I used like this really ridiculous radio voice. And by the way, our fictitious product was Invincible underwear because we had a kid, a friend of mine from high school who was picked on a lot, and guys were always giving him Grundies, and tearing up his underwear. So we thought that would be a perfect product for him. So, I did this ridiculous over-the-top radio voice, and the teacher actually said, you should look into getting into radio. And so then, it became kind of a hobby of mine, and the school principal actually had me start doing the announcing for the boys' basketball games, the varsity basketball games, and then I eventually, ended up doing all the basketball games for guys and girls, JV and varsity. And then I used to, as I was announcing our teammates, I would always, add a little flair and say their last name twice, and I always had parents and other students that thought it was great for some reason. And so when I fast forward like 15 years later, I'm down at OVW, and Paul Heyman suggested to me that I go out to the ring and announce myself. And that was just something, I threw in the last Anderson, the second Anderson, and I came back through the curtain, and everybody was like, that was awesome when you said your last name twice. It turned out that was what it took to get me to the dance,
Absolutely.
I think so stupid, just saying my last name twice. But sometimes it's those little things that
that's
make
pretty
you
cool.
memorable, stand up.
Carriker, you should announce your name twice the next time you get a sack. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Well, see what I can't really announce anything. I don't have a microphone out there, so I try to not wear myself out with a sack dance. I remember the first sack I ever got. I got up, I did this big dance, and I was exhausted. I had to go to the sideline for the next 5 plays. So I just do a little bicep kiss. I do maybe a little Hogan ear to the fans, and I call it good. And I try not to wear myself out too much. I weigh too much to be doing all that dancing.
Just whatever you do, don't be doing the Aaron Rodgers belt gimmick, okay? Don't be stealing.
Well, I was going to ask you, Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers, who do you like better, being a Packers guy?
Good question.
That's a really tough question. I mean, right now, Aaron Rodgers is my guy, but I'll always be a Brett Favre fan. And, you know, people ask me that question a lot, and I completely understand what happened at the end there. It's a two-way street, and we don't know what all went on. And, you know, as a diehard Green Bay Packer fan, you know, we all felt jilted that he left and that he went to another team. But in the end, it's a business, and he has to feed his family and has to make a living for himself. So, you know, I understand that part. And all I have to say is that he gave me, in Green Bay, 16 years of just pure joy and entertainment, you know, during the football season every single year, and played his ass off. So I don't care what that guy does. I'll always be a Brett Favre fan. But I'll tell you what, Aaron Rodgers has just stepped up, and I think the thing that impresses me the most about him is how he's handled himself so well, and he seems to be such a humble guy. I can't think of anybody, whether you like the Packers or not, I can't think of anybody that I've ever heard say anything negative about Aaron Rodgers as far as his character goes.
That's interesting.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I've heard mostly positive things as well. So I would agree with that. So okay, how about this? Let's take out the end of Favre's career. Let's just say Favre the MVP years, and Aaron Rodgers won the MVP last year. If you had to take one guy into the Super Bowl, which would you rather have being a Packers
fan? Wow.
Actually, I'd say Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is farther along in his career at this point than Brett Favre was at this point.
Wow. An honest answer. Hey, let me ask you, as long as we're talking questions, or talking quarterbacks rather, down here in D.C. on the Redskins, they got a humdinger of a rookie in the name of RG3. Now, let me ask you, Mr. Anderson, as a football fan, what kind of impact are you foreseeing RG3 having on the Redskins offense this season?
You know, Adam, what do you think?
I mean, you know, I chat with the guy every day. My locker's right next to him. He's actually, all those reports that came out before the draft about he was selfish and arrogant and all this stuff, somebody was just trying to sabotage the draft. Somebody was just mad at him because he is the exact opposite. He's humble. He's hardworking. He's obviously a physical phenom. He showed that in college, and a lot of guys, you know, that in college, they only get to the NFL, you know, the mental aspect. Either they get lazy, they don't have the drive that you spoke about earlier. And from what I've seen, he has both those things. You never know what you get out of a rookie. Some of the best quarterbacks in history have had rough rookie years. But I guarantee I would be shocked if this guy didn't have a really good career. I mean, I have high expectations for the dude just from what I've seen and how hard he works.
All right. And last question for you, Mr. Anderson, is back to the wrestling-related one. As you said earlier, you've been to the dance. You're still in the dance as far as Adam and I are concerned. But are you still happy in the business? Is this still what you want to do? Are you still getting that same level of excitement every time you step through the curtain and into the ring?
I really am, and I think it's been reinvigorated. I took some time off a few months back. I took about 4 months off, and you know, just took care of some personal things and just cleared my head. And you know, I've been in the business now for 13 years. Been part of a major wrestling corporation for 6-7 years. So, you know, in the fact that we don't have an off season, we go, you know, 52 weeks a year. That's something a lot of people don't realize. And it does take its toll on your body, takes its toll on your mind. And so I would say that I've gone in waves. You know, I've had some really some big ups in my career. I've had some lows, but overall, I mean, I'm happy with everything that I've done in my career. I'm happy with the mistakes that I've made because I've learned from those mistakes. I'm just really happy with everything, and I'm very happy with our company right now and the direction that it's going. So
outstanding.
I hope our fans are as excited about it as we are.
Well, it's certainly an exciting brand to watch. And the last question we always leave to the guests. So, Mr. Anderson, if there's anything you've ever wondered about the NFL, anything you ever wanted to ask an NFL player, or just any question ever, this is your time. Fire away, my friend, and take your time.
Who was your team as a kid growing up? And being that I'm a huge Green Bay Packers fan, and so I made it to the NFL, and I got selected by the Minnesota Vikings. Oh my God! How does that feel? And if you have to play against those guys, how does that feel to you?
I have never been asked this question since I've moved to DC, and I have been very elated that I've never been asked this question. So I'm glad that I'm very glad that you could ask me this question, because I've been ducking it for 3 years. My favorite team growing up was the Redskins arch nemesis, the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, no.
That's why I've been ducking this for 3 years, but nobody's asked me. But leave it to a wrestler to ask me. But that's cool. It was the Dallas Cowboys. It was the Cowboys, and I loved them, and I rooted for them. But the ironic thing, and this is no bull, my rookie year, when I was with the Rams, we went into Dallas, and we played them in Dallas, and this was like a big deal to me. I came away from that game with such a disdain for that team that I couldn't stand them anymore. They went from being my favorite team in the world, at least until I got drafted, to the least favorite team in a matter of 3 hours. They talked trash, just the way they acted. I couldn't stand them. It did not help that we should have sacked Romo for a 40-yard loss, and instead he threw an 80-yard touchdown. I don't know if you've ever seen that play on NFL Follies. It's not one of the Rams' finer plays. I watched that play. It was a very long, embarrassing play. But so actually, when I play the Cowboys now, it's the opposite. I don't lose any of my love or luster. I can say that I join in Redskins Nation when I look forward to playing them, because I don't like them very much, to be honest with you.
I'm glad that I was the first guy that ever asked you that question, because
I've been ducking it for 3 years.
As somebody who gets interviewed a lot of times, you get asked the same questions, and it's hard.
They tend to be repetitive stuff. But I'm glad you came up with a different one.
And on that note, Mr. Anderson, thank you so very much for taking time out of your schedule to join us. Check him out each and every Thursday on Impact Wrestling on Spike TV. And you're on Twitter, right?
I am, and my Twitter handle is Mr. Mr. Ken Anderson.
And we'll put a link to that up on fourthandpain.com. Follow him. It is an absolute must. Yeah, we're at Fourth and Pain. You can check us out on Twitter as well.
And I'm following Adam on Twitter. So
outstanding. And
I appreciate that, by the way.
He loves to get his followers up, man. He loves it. He calls me from time to time, and he's like, Chuck, I lost 20 followers today. Why did this happen? I don't know.
Well, now you're just making crap up. I'm like, come on, man. That is not
true. That
true.
is so true. Don't even try to.
I did not call you that. I text you. There's a difference.
Whatever. You communicated it.
When I lose followers, it's usually because I block them. It's on there that say stupid stuff, and I have no time for negativity at all.
Amen to that, man.
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Constructive criticism is one thing. Just outright stupidity and ignorance, I got no time for it, and I hit block. So I've probably lost a couple hundred to maybe 1,000 followers just by blocking people.
But you know what? They all had it coming, like you said. No time for negativity. And we are fresh.
Exactly.
We are fresh out of time here. This is Fourth and Pain. Thank you so very much, Mr. Anderson. Onward and upward, and only the best and brightest for your future, my friend.
Thank you.